Spider-Man Brand New Day has finally arrived, and if you stayed all the way through the credits, you probably witnessed one of the most mysterious post-credit scenes Marvel has released in years. Instead of giving fans a straightforward tease about the next villain or revealing a surprise superhero, Marvel chose to end the movie with a moment that raises far more questions than it answers. And that's exactly why fans across the world have been talking about it non-stop. The scene is short, but every single second appears to be packed with clues about where Spider-Man's story is heading next. Today, we're going to break down everything that happened, what it could mean, and why this ending might be far more important than it first appears. To understand why this scene is so significant, we first need to look at where Peter Parker's story stands after the events of Spider-Man: No Way Home. At the end of that film, Doctor Strange's spell erased Peter Parker from everyone's memory. His closest friends no longer remembered him, the Avengers had no idea who he was, and the entire world forgot that Peter Parker even existed. While Spider-Man was still out there protecting New York, Peter himself became a complete stranger to everyone he loved. It was one of the saddest endings in Marvel history, and Brand New Day picks up with Peter trying to build a new life completely from scratch. Throughout the movie, Peter embraces a much simpler life than fans have seen in recent years. Gone are the advanced Stark suits, the constant support from powerful heroes, and the glamorous adventures across Europe or the multiverse. Instead, this version of Spider-Man feels much closer to the friendly neighborhood hero that comic book fans have loved for decades. He struggles to pay rent, balances everyday responsibilities with superhero duties, and quietly protects the city without expecting recognition. That grounded approach makes the emotional journey feel even more personal. One of the recurring elements throughout the film is the public's fascination with Spider-Man. Since nobody remembers Peter Parker, Spider-Man has become more of a mystery than ever before. People capture blurry videos, post sightings online, and speculate endlessly about who the masked hero really is. This ongoing obsession eventually leads to the creation of a Spider-Man tracking system that monitors unusual Spider-Man activity throughout New York. At first, it seems like nothing more than an entertaining background detail, but Marvel cleverly turns it into one of the most important plot devices in the entire movie. After the emotional conclusion of the main story, the credits begin to roll. Fans know Marvel tradition well, so most people remain seated, expecting at least one final surprise. The theater lights stay dim, conversations begin quietly among the audience, and then the screen suddenly comes back to life. Instead of introducing a new character or revealing another villain, Marvel takes viewers back to the Spider-Man tracking system. The screen shows the tracker operating normally, monitoring activity across New York, until something completely unexpected happens. Without warning, the tracker begins to malfunction. The display flickers, strange readings appear across the screen, and then the map starts zooming farther and farther away from Earth. It moves beyond New York, beyond the atmosphere, beyond the moon, and keeps going. Eventually, the system locks on to a single Spider-Man signal somewhere far away in deep space. Before the audience can fully process what they're seeing, the screen cuts to black with a simple promise that Spider-Man will return. That's it. No explanation, no extra clues, just one enormous mystery. At first glance, this ending seems incredibly simple, but Marvel rarely does anything without a reason. Every detail in a post-credit scene is usually designed to hint at future stories, and this one may be setting up one of the biggest chapters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The biggest question immediately becomes obvious. If Spider-Man has been protecting New York throughout the movie, why is the tracker suddenly detecting him somewhere beyond Earth? Is Peter actually in space, or is the system picking up something entirely different? One possibility is that the tracker has somehow locked on to another version of Spider-Man. Ever since No Way Home introduced multiple Spider-Men from different universes, fans have accepted that there isn't just one wall crawler in the Marvel multiverse. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man still exists, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man still exists, countless comic book versions also exist somewhere beyond the main timeline. If the tracker is simply searching for anyone carrying the Spider-Man signature, perhaps it has accidentally discovered another universe. This theory becomes even more interesting when we remember that Marvel has been building toward another massive crossover event. Recent Marvel Cinematic Universe projects have continued exploring alternate realities, timelines, and the fragile nature of the multiverse. Strange occurrences are becoming more common, and several heroes have already encountered realities beyond their own. If Brand New Day is truly laying the groundwork for the next Avengers story, then this mysterious Spider-Man signal could be our very first glimpse of a much larger crisis.
Another fascinating possibility is that the tracker isn't ordinary space at all. It may be detecting a location outside normal reality, somewhere connected to the multiverse itself. Marvel has introduced audiences to dimensions that exist beyond time and space before, so the idea isn't impossible. The visual appearance of the tracker suggests distance, but distance inside the MCU doesn't always mean physical space. Sometimes it means crossing the boundaries between universes. The emotional impact of this scene becomes even stronger when you think about Peter's journey. Throughout Brand New Day, he spends the entire movie learning to accept loneliness. He understands that protecting people often requires painful sacrifices. He watches the people he loves move on with their lives, while he quietly continues being Spider-Man. Then, just when it seems his future might finally become stable again, the universe throws another mystery directly into his path. It's a reminder that Peter Parker's life is never simple for very long. Marvel has always excelled at ending movies with just enough information to keep fans talking for months. This post-credits scene follows that tradition perfectly. Instead of answering questions, it creates dozens of new ones. Why did the tracker suddenly activate? Who or what is producing the signal? Is someone searching for Spider-Man? Or is Spider-Man unknowingly being pulled toward a completely different adventure? Every interpretation opens the door to another exciting possibility. Fans have already begun examining every frame of the sequence. Some believe the signal represents Peter's future, suggesting that he will soon leave Earth for an adventure unlike anything we've seen before. Others think the tracker is malfunctioning because reality itself is beginning to collapse. If the boundaries between universes are weakening, perhaps technology is starting to detect impossible things that should never exist in the same reality. That idea fits perfectly with Marvel's ongoing multiverse storyline. There's also the possibility that the post-credit scene isn't meant to introduce a location at all. Instead, it could symbolize Spider-Man's growing importance within the larger Marvel universe. For years, Peter has mostly focused on protecting his neighborhood, but the events of Infinity War, Endgame, and No Way Home proved that he can stand alongside Earth's mightiest heroes when the situation demands it. Maybe Brand New Day is signaling that Spider-Man's next challenge will once again be much bigger than New York City. One detail that many viewers found especially interesting is how calm the scene feels. Marvel often uses explosive action or dramatic reveals in post-credit sequences, but this time, everything is surprisingly quiet. There are no battles, no giant monsters, and no shocking character entrances. Just a simple tracking screen slowly revealing something impossible. That restraint makes the moment even more powerful because it encourages viewers to think rather than simply react. It's also worth remembering that Marvel intentionally gave this movie a more grounded tone compared to recent Spider-Man adventures. Much of the story focuses on Peter reconnecting with ordinary life, dealing with personal struggles, and rediscovering what it truly means to be a neighborhood hero. Ending such a grounded film with a mysterious cosmic tease creates a striking contrast. It reminds audiences that no matter how ordinary Peter's life becomes, extraordinary events always seem to find him. Another interesting aspect of the post-credit scene is what it doesn't show. Marvel never confirms whether the signal belongs to Peter Parker. The display simply identifies Spider-Man. That wording feels incredibly deliberate. If Marvel wanted audiences to know it was definitely Tom Holland's hero, they could have made that clear. Instead, they leave the identity intentionally vague, allowing countless theories to emerge about who or even what the tracker has discovered. Could this be connected to another Spider-Man we haven't met yet? Could it be teasing a completely unexpected character? Or is Marvel simply encouraging audiences to keep guessing until the next chapter arrives? Those unanswered questions are exactly what make the ending so effective. Sometimes the mystery itself is more exciting than an immediate explanation. Another reason this ending has generated so much excitement is because it marks a fresh beginning for Peter Parker. Brand New Day isn't about closing a chapter, it's about opening a completely new one. Peter has accepted responsibility, embraced independence, and rediscovered the core values that define Spider-Man. With those lessons behind him, the stage is finally set for even bigger adventures that challenge him in entirely new ways.
Marvel has repeatedly demonstrated that small moments often become incredibly important later. Think back to previous films where tiny details seemed insignificant at first, only to become central plot points years afterward. Fans have learned to pay attention to everything, no matter how brief it appears. That's why this seemingly simple tracking sequence has inspired so many discussions. It feels like the first puzzle piece of something much larger. If the signal truly represents another Spider-Man somewhere beyond Peter's reality, then the possibilities are almost endless. Future stories could reunite familiar faces, introduce brand new heroes, or even explore parts of the Spider-Man mythos that have never appeared in live action before. Marvel now has the creative freedom to take Peter Parker almost anywhere, and this ending quietly hints that they're preparing to do exactly that. Of course, another possibility is that the tracker itself has evolved beyond its original purpose. Technology inside the MCU often develops in unexpected ways. What began as a simple system for tracking sightings could now be responding to unusual energy signatures connected to Spider-Man himself. If that's true, then the post-credit scene may actually be revealing that something has fundamentally changed within the fabric of reality. No matter which theory ultimately proves correct, one thing is undeniable. Marvel has successfully reignited excitement about Spider-Man's future. Instead of ending Brand New Day with complete closure, the studio has left audiences eager to discover what comes next. That anticipation has always been one of Marvel's greatest strengths, and this movie demonstrates that the formula still works incredibly well. For longtime Spider-Man fans, the ending also serves as a reminder of why Peter Parker remains one of the most beloved superheroes ever created. His journey is never just about defeating villains. It's about hope, sacrifice, responsibility, and finding the strength to keep moving forward even when life becomes incredibly difficult. Brand New Day captures those themes beautifully, while still promising that Peter's greatest challenges may still lie ahead. As fans continue debating every detail, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. This post-credit scene isn't simply an afterthought. It's the bridge between one chapter of Spider-Man's life and the next. Whether that next chapter involves the multiverse, another Spider-Man, an enormous Avengers-level threat, or something nobody has predicted yet, Marvel has ensured that audiences will be talking about these final moments for a long time. So, what do you think really happened in the Spider-Man Brand New Day post-credit scene? Was the tracker following Peter Parker, another Spider-Man, or something far more mysterious? Could this be the first hint of Marvel's next massive crossover event? Or is the studio cleverly misleading fans once again? Whatever the answer turns out to be, one thing is certain. Spider-Man's story is far from over, and the future looks bigger, stranger, and more unpredictable than ever before. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for more Spider-Man updates, Marvel breakdowns, and the biggest entertainment news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.